This is just a reminder of some of the skills that we've looked at so far. We spent some weeks practicing our predicting skills. We spent some weeks clarifying keywords to help us understand a text. And at the minute, we are doing what it says at the bottom left-hand corner, asking questions about a text. Earlier in the week, when this was first introduced, we said that we could think of questions before reading, questions during the reading process, and questions after reading. There are lots of types of questions. Some can be small questions, and they often lead to small discoveries. Some can be bigger questions, and they often, when answered, lead to bigger discoveries. Some questions only reveal deeper mysteries. It's a bit like when we were thinking of questions for our class novel in the last lesson. And the more questions we thought of, there seemed to be more and more questions that we developed. And finally, even if you know what question to ask, the answer, when you read on, may surprise you. So for questioning, this is just a reminder of the 5 W's that you can often use when starting a question. Who, what, where, why, when. There are, of course, other questions that start without a W, such as how, if. There are also different types of question stems. The green ones on the left, right there, okay, is basically when the more simple questions, when the answer is right there in the text. And often these questions will start with what, where, who, when, okay? The yellow ones are think and search questions, and examples of these are found below. They're a little bit harder than right there questions. The answer's in the text, but you might need to kind of get information and combine it from different places. The red ones, the author and me, and the examples that are there, such as what kind of person is, what would you do if you, that's when you've got to think about combining your own knowledge with what's in the text and the author's ideas. The blue ones are simply questions that are asked in order to give your own opinion, such as if you could, and you would need to finish off the sentence, do you agree with? So for example, it could be, do you agree with Agrippa's behaviour in our novel? So we're going to look at an extract of Wonder. Some of you may have read the book, some of you may have watched the film. I'm going to read, and you can follow along. You might even want to read aloud yourself as I read. Ordinary. I know I'm not an ordinary 10-year-old kid. I mean, sure, I do ordinary things. I eat ice cream, I ride my bike, I play ball, I have an Xbox. Stuff like that makes me ordinary, I guess. And I feel ordinary, inside. But I know ordinary kids don't make other ordinary kids run away screaming in playgrounds. I know ordinary kids don't get stared at wherever they go. Second paragraph. If I found a magic lamp and I could have one wish, I would wish that I had a normal face that no one ever noticed at all. I would wish that I could walk down the street without people seeing me and then doing that looking away thing. Here's what I think. The only reason I'm not ordinary is that no one else sees me that way. But I'm kind of used to how I look by now. I know how to pretend. This is paragraph 3. I don't see the faces people make. We've all gotten pretty good at that sort of thing. Me, Mum and Dad, Via. Actually, I take that back. Via's not so good at it. She can get really annoyed when people do something rude. Like, for instance, one time in the playground, some older kids made some noises. I didn't even know what the noises were exactly because I didn't hear them myself, but Via heard, and she just started yelling at the kids. That's the way she is. I'm not that way. Via doesn't see me as ordinary. She says she does, but if I were ordinary, she wouldn't feel like she needs to protect me as much. And Mum and Dad don't see me as ordinary either. They see me as extraordinary. I think the only person in the world who realizes how ordinary I am is me. My name is August, by the way. I won't describe what I look like. Whatever you're thinking, it's probably worse. Now we're going to the work that we've done earlier in the week. We've just read a text, and I want us to think about some questions that we can ask based on that text. This is the text that I read to you here, okay? But on the previous slides, I made the text bigger so that you could follow along. And today I want us to be thinking about a variety of questions that we could ask based on that text. I want us to think about some right there questions. Simple questions, starting with what and who, and the answer is right there in the text. I want us to think about some think and search questions, where you might need to, in order to find the answer, combine information from different places. I want you to think of some author and me type questions, where you have to combine your own knowledge with what's in the text and the author's ideas. And finally, I do want you to think about on my own, giving my own opinion questions. Now, if you were still unsure as to, based on that text, what some of those types of questions could be, here are some examples. Some right there questions could have been, what age is the narrator? What is their name? And I bet some of you are already remembering the answers to those questions. Some think and search questions, these, remember, are a little bit more complicated, and you would have had to find information from various parts of the text that I read. What things make the narrator feel ordinary? What things make them feel different? Then, author and me. How do you find the narrator feels? Do you find the last line effective? Why? On my own. In what ways do you feel ordinary, extraordinary? So you can see in this last section, on my own, this question that I've designed is enabling you to think about you and your opinion in relation to the text. Now I'm going to carry on with the video, but if you wanted to go back and have a look at the text and answer those questions, I will look at them in a bit more detail. You could always rewind the video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a second section of Wonder, and it's called Why I Didn't Go to School, and your task today will be to try and come up with four different questions about Wonder Wonder questions 2. Okay, here it is. Why I didn't go to school. Next week I start 5th grade. Since I've never been to a real school before, I am pretty much totally and completely petrified. People think I haven't gone to school because of the way I look, but it's not that. It's because of all the surgeries I've had. 27 since I was born. The bigger ones happened before I was even 4 years old, so I don't remember those. But I've had 2 or 3 surgeries every year since then, some big, some small. And because I'm little for my age, and I have some other medical mysteries that doctors never really figured out, I used to get sick a lot. That's why my parents decided it was better if I didn't go to school. I'm much stronger now though. The last surgery I had was 8 months ago, and I probably won't have to have any more for another couple of years. Now again, you can rewind this video and listen to me reading the text, but actually the text is also in files in Teams, and it's under the name literacy task. So I wonder if you can think of a great right there question. This is your task really for today. Can you think about a think and search question? Can you write an author and you question? Can you write a on my own question? Okay. Now, just in case you've forgotten what those different types of questions are, if you do look at the file called literacy task, it gives you a little bit more information. Okay. So you can either read the text again in that file called Teams, or you can listen to me read it, and then I want you to come up with 4 different questions based on what you've read or what you've listened to. If you can do a write there question, a think and search question, an author and you question, and an on my own question, that would be brilliant. But don't stress, don't panic, and if you just come up with 4 questions, that would be wonderful. You can set them out like this, or just list them with the subheadings right there, author and me, think and search, on my own in your book, or just list them as numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good luck, everybody.